Hi, I'm the Scrub, and you're here for one reason. Golbez, you need to understand that I would do almost anything to protect my sister. So can you imagine how much rage a freaking dragon must be feeling towards you because you've let the darkness consume Ajdayar and made her the Shadow Dragon? Your survival instincts would know the brand of window by taste, and you have the moral backbone of a bowl of ice cream in the desert sun. I've spent my entire existence killing gods. You're just a mid-morning snack. Time to learn about the Voidcast Dais. Simplified. The arena will not have any walls, so try not to fall off. Golbez will move into the middle of the arena and cast Terror Storm. This will create one massive shadow meteor above one of the corners of the platform. After a few seconds, this meteor will slam down onto this corner in a large circular AoE. Just move away from the corner that has the meteor to dodge the attack. Getting hit by this will give you a Vuln stack. After this hits the arena, he will turn to a random party member and cast Crescent Blade. This will be a large 180-degree semicircle AoE in the direction he's facing. You'll need to get behind him in order to dodge the attack. Getting hit by this will give you a hard hit and a Vuln stack. Golbez will move into the middle of the platform and cast Arctic Assault. This will put down two walls of ice with spikes extending from opposite directions. These will cleave each quarter of the arena that they are facing when the cast ends. You'll just need to get behind the walls of spikes in order to dodge the attack. Getting hit by either of the spike AoEs will give you a Vuln stack. He will then perform another Crescent Blade and then cast Void Meteor. This will give both tanks a medium-sized circular AoE tank buster. This is a multi-hit tank buster that will have 4 smaller hits of Void Comet followed by 1 larger hit of Void Meteor. Tanks will need to mitigate if they have any Vuln stacks. If you are a non-tank and you get hit by any of these attacks, please make sure that you notify your next of kin. The cast of Lingering Spark will place 4 AoEs underneath random party members. This will happen 3 times to different party members each time, so you'll need to dodge out of the AoEs as best you can. If you get hit by any of these AoEs, they will give you a Vuln stack. Tanks try to keep Golbez as centered as possible, as he will perform another Crescent Blade right after this to a random player. If you've moved him around, he can catch players out on where to stand to be safe. Golbez will then cast Binding Cold. This will be a room-wide AoE that will also give everyone a Frostbite dot tick for 9 seconds. Golbez will move back into the middle of the room and cast Ajdayar's Shadow. When this cast ends, a short cutscene will play. When you get back from the cutscene, Golbez will start casting Black Fang. This will be a 6-hit ultimate, 5 hits being small and the last hit being about 7 times harder than the smaller ones. Golbez will cast Ajdayar's Shadow again. This will swirl a dark aura around him and also give him the buff of Eventide Sword when the cast ends. This will cause his Crescent Blade Cleave to be upgraded to Shadow Crescent. Instead of being just a semicircle cleave, this will now be a cleave immediately followed by a point blank AoE. So you will need to keep this in mind for whenever he has the Eventide Sword buff. If you do get hit by the point blank AoE, you'll get a Vuln stack. At the same time as the semicircle cleave goes out, one of 2 things will happen. Either 5 players will get a point blank AoE on them, so everyone will need to spread out and avoid overlapping these, or 1 player will get a stack marker, so everyone will need to avoid the AoEs as best they can and group up to share the damage. Golbez will then move to the north end of the platform and lock himself in place. 2 meteor towers will be created on the west and east sides of the arena. These will have pillars in the middle of them. The number of players that are required to soak the damage is the same number of pillars in each tower. The number of people is not exact, as you can have more than the required number in the tower, it just has to be at least the same as the number of pillars. 1 player, normally a healer, will also get a large knockback indicator from their position. This player will need to get to the middle of the arena to help everyone with this mechanic. Players will need to group up beside the player with the knockback in order to be pushed into the respective towers. You won't be pushed off the platform as long as you stand beside the healer and take the knockback. However, if you're not confident, you can just use knockback immunity. After everyone is pushed, the meteor towers will go off. If there aren't enough people in a tower, it will explode and give everyone a Vuln stack. As these towers go off, Golbez will cast Double Meteor. This will put 2 proximity markers either on the north or south end of the arena, so everyone will need to get away from these to reduce the overall damage to you. And also, Ajdayar will target 1 player, normally the player who had the knockback indicator, with crosshairs. This will put a thick straight line AoE through where this player was standing with the cast of Cauterize. So you'll need to bait this AoE away from the other players so they don't get cleaved by the AoE. Getting hit by this AoE will give you a Vuln stack. After everything goes off, Golbez will unlock his position and he's able to be moved around again. He will move into the middle of the room and cast Gale Sphere. 4 shadow clones of Golbez will each move to the sides of the platform. They will spawn in either clockwise or anti-clockwise around the arena. Keep note of the order that they spawn in, as these will be the same order that they will go off in. After all 4 spawn in, there will be 4 green wind orbs that will appear on each side in front of the clones. After a few seconds, these orbs will fire in a straight line AoE across the arena from where they are positioned on the sides. Where there aren't any orbs will be the safe zone for that side, so you'll need to dodge into the safe zone of all 4 sides as they go off to dodge the attacks. Getting hit by any of the orbs will give you a Vuln stack. There is a slight trick to this one. Take note of which 2 spawn spawned first. Stand in the safe zone where both of the first two sets of wind orbs will be. Then, wait for the first two set of straight line AoEs to go off. When they do, you can move into the next safe spot where both of the safe zones overlap from the last two spawning in, and you'll be safe for the rest of the mechanic. Golbez will then place two Exaflare markers in the corners of the arena and cast Void Stardust. These Exaflares will be fast, and they will go in the direction they are facing from corner to corner. After they reach the corner, they will then make a U-turn and come back down the middle of the arena. The easiest way to dodge this mechanic is to stand next to the first Exaflare so it will be traveling away from you. Then, as it goes off, move into the spot where it just was and you'll be safe. You'll get a Vol stack per AoE you are hit by. Later on in the fight, you can also see Eventide 4, which will put two straight line stack markers on both healers. The party will need to split into two groups to soak the stack markers with each healer, as these stack markers will go off one at a time. You cannot take both stacks of this or stack them up, as when you get hit by one, it will give you a magic vulnerability up debuff for 3 seconds. If you try to take two of these or stack up the stack markers, you will be immediately vaporized upon the second hit. From here, mechanics will begin to overlap and repeat until Golbez has been defeated. Congratulations, you have defeated Golbez. My name is Scrub. Thank you for watching.